Hey everyone, JBR3 Collector here, doing my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2020 video. As you can see, there are way more than 10 Marvel Legends here. But these are all the Marvel Legends, not counting duplicates. I got like 4 Hellfire Club guys and stuff like that. These are all the Marvel Legends that I got in 2020. So now I'm going to pull these away little by little and knock it down to 10 somehow. Okay, stay tuned. Number 10 on my list for Best Marvel Legends of 2020 is the Red Hulk. Oh, out of frame. The Red Hulk. That 80 years Hulk body was so perfect. It's such a great body mold for Hulk figures. I think any time that body mold is used on a figure, and it's going to be automatically top 10 worthy, or at least close to the top 10 worthy every year from here on out. Red Hulk is probably my second favorite use of this body mold. The first is the 2-pack Hulk, and then Red Hulk here. But yeah, I think he's just awesome. And there's a huge... He was so hard to find earlier this year. I found him with no problem, but most other people had a really huge, hard time finding this guy. And I think he's totally worth that hype. Red Hulk is my number 10. Hope we get some more Hulk villains and more Hulk characters on this body mold in the future, and more versions of the Hulk in general. Alright, see number 9. Number 9 on the best Marvel Legends of 2020, on my top 10 2020, is the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure. This guy is awesome. Not my favorite version of Crimson Dynamo, but I like all the versions of Crimson Dynamo. So this is the one from the 2003 like miniseries, the Crimson Dynamo miniseries. I think it's a really cool character, really cool design. Like I love like these blue tubes and the big shoulder pads. I love this version of Crimson Dynamo. I think he's really cool looking, and it just really surprised me that he'd be on my top 10. I just think he's fantastic. This has been a good year for Iron Man characters. Yeah, so number 9, Crimson Dynamo. We're going smaller for number 8, but number 8 is the new Carnage from the Venom Pool Build-A-Figure wave. I loved the old Carnage figures. Specifically, I like the one from the Monster Venom wave a lot. But this one with all this added sculpted detail and this butterfly joint articulation, like all that sculpted detail is incredible on this guy. And that was what makes this guy really stand out. And because I like him more than the previous one, which I thought was fantastic in its own right, makes this figure a must-have on my top 10. Only thing I wish he could be different is the toes. I wish he had a more pointy foot, like a normal symbiote, rather than the modern day symbiotes with toes. But with this classic head on him, he's perfect for me, I think. So yeah, Carnage, number 8. Definitely recommend this guy. And then at number 7, we have a Marvel character that everyone wanted for so many years. A requested Build-A-Figure for such a long time. We finally got him this year. He wasn't a Build-A-Figure. We got Nimrod. Yes, Nimrod. Not very articulated, but Nimrod doesn't need to be very articulated. He's a big robot. So Nimrod is awesome. And if it was just based on the articulation, he wouldn't be on the list. But because it's the character and he looks so spot on to his likeness, he's a must-have. And I'm just really happy to finally have Nimrod. Past few years, Marvel has finally been checking off a lot of, like Marvel and Hasbro have been really checking off a lot of these characters that like everybody's wanted for such a long time, like Nimrod, Sauron, Strong Guy, etc. People wanted his Build-A-Figures for so long, and they're finally getting them of the last 3 years. And Nimrod, he really has a presence on the shelf. He's a big white robot. He really stands out next to the Sentinels. So yeah, number 7? Number 7, Nimrod. Number 6 is a very, very popular character we've got tons of figures of over the years. Maybe not tons, but lots. It is my favorite version of Storm. First appearance, 70s Storm. This has always been my favorite Storm costume. I like the 70s X-Men a lot better than the 90s X-Men, for example. So I have a big soft spot for the 70s X-Men. And Storm, she was beautifully done for a female figure. I mean, she has the female figure articulation like normal, but her elbows can bend in a lot further than normal. But she has that ugly joint, but it's okay. And she has alternate head, alternate cape. She has all this sculpted detail. They could have easily just painted this on, but they didn't. And this figure just really stands out because of that. Storm is a really fantastic, beautiful looking female Marvel Legend figure this year. And definitely she's #1 best female Marvel Legend figure this year. And I'm really happy to finally have her. So at number 6, we have Storm. Taking a break from the top 10, just to do some minor honorable mentions. These are some other figures that I really loved from this year. They would have been on my top 10 throughout the year, and numbers have changed. If I do this list again, maybe they would be. I'm just go over these guys real quickly. Silver Centurion Iron Man, I mentioned earlier with Crimson Dynamo. It's been a great year for Iron Man characters, and Silver Centurion is definitely worthy of being up there. Be better if you didn't have that neck problem, but maybe a little bit wider shoulder pads. But otherwise, spot on, almost perfect rendition of Silver Centurion. Really happy to have this guy. I've always wanted an updated Silver Centurion. So, in a different year, he would have made the top 10. But yeah, the Iron Man the 80th anniversary Iron Man body, so good. Even though it's been modified for this guy, it's always going to be good. It's always, just like Hulk earlier, always going to be highly rated. Same thing can be said about Iron Man 2020. I like him even more than Silver Centurion, even though he's more basic than him. It's Iron Man 2020. It's a character that's not that popular, but it is still Iron Man, and it's just amazing. And I'm so glad it got released in 2020. That's such a great move on Hasbro's part. So really happy to have Iron Man 2020, and he's just fantastic. Same with 80 years Iron Man from last year. Just a must-have. Well, not really a must-have, I guess. I just think it's a must-have for me, for my collection. Then we have Dark Beast. The Beast figure last year was fantastic, and this one's just as good. Mine has a stuck joint on, not the ankle, this ankle, stuck joint. But it's just the head sculpt on this guy is beautiful. His head sculpt is definitely better than I didn't mind the screaming head on the other Beast either, but this head sculpt's definitely better. And Dark Beast is such a cool villain. Definitely needed for my X-Men collection. So, because unlike most of the AOA characters, Dark Beast has had a big hand in the 616 universe. So he was a must-have for me, and he's badass. So, Dark Beast would have really high on the ranking here. Then we got Black Widow with that beautiful head sculpt. She would have been #1 female figure of the year if Storm hadn't come out and had all brand new sculpting. This is a fantastic figure. So many good accessories. Such a gorgeous head sculpt. Black Widow. It's one of my favorite costumes for Black Widow. This is my preferred Avengers costume, Black Widow. It's fantastic, and she would have made my top 10, which would have been really hard, which would have been really rare for a basic female figure to make my top 10. It's just all the accessories and the head really makes her stand out. She's beautiful, and yeah, if it wasn't for Storm, she'd be in the top 10. Or she'd at least be #1 woman. Then there's Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi and Falcon have something in common, you'll see. Shang-Chi is a Marvel character that, isn't really popular, but he's getting a movie soon. That Spider-Man 2099 body has such good articulation, and they made it look really well really good with Shang-Chi. Plus all the accessories, all the hands, the weapons. Could have used an angry face or something, but it's okay. What makes him stand out compared to most figures in the 2099 body mold is the bigger shoulders. They've only used the bigger shoulders on Shang-Chi and Falcon so far. Like, I'm gonna grab Moon Knight for a second. Wherever he's at. Oh, stuff fell. See, Moon Knight's shoulders are significantly smaller. This is not super noticeable, but it is to me. On camera, it's not noticeable, but to me, it is in person. And Those big shoulders just really make him stand out. And I love Shang-Chi. He's such a such a cool character. Don't have a huge attachment to him. That's why he probably might have made the top 10 if I had a bigger attachment to him. But he's fantastic. And the same thing can be said about Falcon. Falcon took that Shang-Chi body and reused it in a great way. And the Vulture wings work even better for Falcon, in my opinion, than they did for Vulture. And it's a good body mold. This is my second favorite Falcon costume. He wore this during like Civil War and stuff, so it's cool. He might have made the top 10 if he was a classic Falcon, but this is still a really cool version of Falcon, and I'm still really happy to have it. And then the last of the honorable mentions is Strong Guy, character I've always wanted, and we finally brings us that much closer to finishing our X Factor. All we need is Wolfsbane, maybe add a random in there and stuff like that. But Strong Guy, such a fantastic figure, such a great sculpt, and he easily could be on my top 10. Totally unique sculpt on this guy. I mean, he's fantastic. The facial expression there really fits that character, fits this character. The non-pan zipper does not bother me at all. As I mentioned in the video review of him back a few months ago, I wish he was just wider. Like, he's the perfect height. But Strong Guy, I wish he was like, you know, for my finger to here, like that much wider. He's a really wide character. He's not a very tall character. And I really would have liked that better. Like, have the legs be the same size, but just, I understand that probably wouldn't work for balancing issues and stuff. I think he already has a hard time balancing already. Maybe not. But, I don't know. I just wish he was wider. He'd really be more impressive on the shelf to me. But still really, really cool. I'm still really happy to have Strong Guy, and he's really fantastic. Definitely one of the top Build-A-Figures of the year. And if it was someone less picky, he probably would be on the top 10. But for me, he just barely doesn't make it. At number 5, we have my Build-A-Figure of the year. Kind of a surprise for me. It is Sugar Man. This guy is beautiful. I mean, he's hideous, he's disgusting, he's ugly, but he's fucking beautiful. This figure, all that detail, all the sculpt work, he's totally unique and all fully articulated. And other than like no ab crunch, obviously, he doesn't have a torso. So it's just, this guy is incredible. I'm surprised I don't see it on as many people's top 10 lists as I have. It's just the character I really don't care that much about. And he has had a hand in the 616 universe as well. I'm very picky with my figures. If you know, I only bought the AOA characters that have had appearances or had major appearances in the 616 universe. And Sugar Man has had probably minor, I guess, but major to me appearances in the 616 universe. So he was a must-have, and he is a beautiful, disgusting figure. It is crazy. This guy really has a shelf presence. I used to use the old 90s Toy Biz Sugar Man figure as a stand-in, and now that we have this puts that thing to shame, you know, easily. So Sugar Man, definitely my top Build-A-Figure of 2020, and yeah, I definitely recommend picking this guy up if you haven't. Number 4, we're coming back to Iron Man characters, and this is by far the best Iron Man character released this year, War Machine. This deluxe War Machine is amazing. He has so many great accessories, which really pumps him up higher on this list. But he uses the 80th anniversary as Iron Man as like a base for it, like the arms and the legs. But there's so much unique sculpting on top of that. Top of this guy, brand new legs, brand new forearms, brand new torso, head, all that stuff. He's fantastic. He has a great alternate head. I don't have it with me, so I'm not going to pull it off. But War Machine is definitely my favorite of all the new recent Iron Man character figures released of the past 10 years or so. 10 years, I meant 2 years, but 10 years too. There haven't been good Iron Man figures until the past 2 years or so. So this is definitely the best of all those Iron Man figures released so far. I'd rank him higher than 80th Anniversary Iron Man, which I loved last year. I think he was like number 2 on my list last year. So, yeah, War Machine, definite badass figure. I I actually want to get a second one of him if I can find it on clearance or discount, so I can add it to my Hall of Armor. Like I bought 2 Silver Centurions for that reason. But yeah, War Machine, really cool. I'm sure, I know he ranks really high in most people's top 10 lists, and I gotta agree, he's definitely worth that. I wish this was painted silver better, but it's okay. It does not, the molded plastic doesn't bother me. I think it's a really, really fantastic figure. Really captures that 90s aesthetic. And at number 3, it's a lot of people's number 1. It is Doctor Doom. Doom came out in the very beginning of the year. Some people consider him a 2019 figure because they got him in 2019. He's technically supposed to be a 2020 release. I got him like January 5th, 2020. So, somewhere around there. He's fantastic. He's all the sculpt and his articulation is great, even with the sculpt for a Doctor Doom figure. You're actually able to sit down on a throne. It's really cool. Love this head sculpt. I love both head sculpts. I want to get the retro version of this still too. All this, all those. I'm not gonna go too crazy on Doom. Everyone loves Doctor Doom this year. He's everyone's favorite. He would have ranked higher for me if he was just a little bit taller, just a little bit. Like here's Shang-Chi next to Doom, for example, and I want Doom to be a little like maybe this tall. Because Doom is listed as being 6'7" in the Marvel handbooks and stuff, but I don't need him to be that big. I just need him to be bigger than he is. I want him to be more menacing on the shelf. He still looks menacing, but he'd be more menacing if he was just a little bit bigger. And that's the only thing that's holding him down for me. I do love this look for Doom. I do love this figure for Doom, and he's still my Doom on the shelf. Just wish he was slightly bigger. It would make him even better. But as is, badass figure, and could easily be number 1 of the year, even with his little flaw. I think he's fantastic. Number 2 is a surprise for most people, I think. I consider this guy the Deathlock figure of 2020. Deathlock was a really underrated figure for the year he came out. And this guy, I think, has that worthiness too. This is Maverick. Maverick is not an important character in the Marvel Universe in any way, shape, or form. He's not important at all. But he gets this whole brand new sculpt. Everything brand new. Nothing on this figure. Maybe the hands. But nothing is reused. This is totally just Maverick. Only problem with this guy was that he came with a Star-Lord gun. But I just give him I can give him one of Crossbone's guns instead for his holster. This gun is spot on to his comic book gun. This is a brand new gun for this guy. Very not realistic, but that's how the gun he holds in the comic looks. So, but yeah, Maverick's such an underrated character this year. I've not seen him on anyone's top 10s. I've not seen him on. He's great. I think he has good articulation too, and a totally unique sculpt. He is the Deathlock of 2020. If you don't know what that means, Deathlock came out in 2017, I think, and was a really fantastic figure that got slept on by everybody. He was a peg warmer, but he had a totally brand new sculpt. He was a great looking figure, great detail. If I can go back, I'd probably rank him higher. I think I rated him like number 4 on my list. I'd probably put him closer to 2. But he's a fantastic figure, and Maverick just reminds me so much of that. And he's a great figure. They could have easily reused Deathlock for Maverick if they really wanted to, make him not totally accurate. But Maverick looks so different every comic panel he's in anyway. He's the 90s character. 90s characters never look the same. Sorry, I'm getting real passionate about Maverick. It's just character. I like Maverick. I like how he looks and everything. He's just not a character I've been a big, huge I love. But his figure is just so unique and standoutish to me that he had to be so ranked so high on my list. I had him as number 1 for a little while there. But yeah, fantastic figure with Maverick. I'm really happy. And my number 1 Marvel Legend of 2020 is King the Conqueror. Probably very surprising. King the Conqueror, I think this figure is fantastic. He has all the appeal that Doom has, with all the sculpted detail, brand new body mold. He's a major villain in the Marvel Universe. He's gorgeous. He looks great on the shelf. It looks just like King. And he doesn't have the flaw that Doom has about being too small for me. This is exactly how Kang should look to me. This is perfect, spot on Kang. And I hated the old Toy Biz and the Hasbro re-release of the Kang figure. A few years ago, my house got robbed, and my Kang was one of the figures that got stolen in my thing, and I never bothered to replace him. I hated that figure so much. I thought he was so ugly. This is improved on that so much. This figure it's perfect. I can't think of a better Kang figure. I'm noticing the purple's a little different on the knees in the video, but it's okay. This figure is fantastic. Kang is a great villain. He's always deserved a better figure. And here he is. He's my #1 of 2020. Probably a big surprise to a lot of people. And he looks great alongside Doctor Doom. These guys are always teaming up together in the comics or fighting against each other in the comics. Both. I want the other versions of Kang now too. Like I want a new Iron Lad. I want like Immortus, and I want I know this one's not Kang, but it's related to Kang. Scarlet Centurion. I want more Kang stuff, and he's such a cool character, and this figure is done so well. I think Hasbro really knocked it out of the park with this guy, with most of these figures this year. Hasbro killed it this year with their Marvel Legends releases, and Kang, Doom, Maverick, Sugar Man, all of them are really big standout figures, and I recommend you pick them up. Alright, so that is my top 10 of 2020. Let me know what you guys thought about my ranking in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' rankings as well. So, yeah, just comment below, let me know. And until next time, just keep on keeping on. I need to really get this catchphrase. I actually have this idea, because as you guys saw, I bought about 50 Marvel Legends total this year. If you guys would like to see me do a full ranking, like rank all my Marvel Legends I bought this year, I would totally be interested in doing that. It's gonna be a long video, so I don't know if anyone would even watch it. But yeah, if you guys are interested, can't talk. If anyone's interested in watching that, let me know, and I will do that. I would love to actually rank all my figures I got this year. I've never done that before, and it'd probably be really difficult because there's some figures that I love because of the character, but the figure's not very good. So I gotta try to be objective and subjective at the same time. So, anyways, that's my top 10 of 2020. This is the top 6 here. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. And as always, keep watching, like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.